Interlinked.
What's it like to hold your child in your arms? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you feel that there's a part of you that's missing? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Within cells, interlinked.
Within cells interlinked.
Why don't you say that 3 times? Within cells, interlinked.
Within cells interlinked. Within cells interlinked. Within cells interlinked.
Okay, so what you just saw right there was a scene out of the movie Blade Runner 2049. It's what they referred to as a baseline test administered to replicants, and it essentially tests their humanity. Now you may ask, why are they testing their humanity? Well, replicants are exactly what you probably think they are. They are artificially created humans who basically, have robot everything, but they look exactly like a human. You can't tell one bit besides running one of these tests whether they are human or a replicant. Now, a really important note about replicants, and probably the general ask of the entire movie, surrounds this one stipulation. They're not referred to as humans, or they don't get the same rights as a human because they were made in a lab. So a lot of the movie follows the main character, Ryan Gosling, who is basically going around finding these certain replicants that deviate off path. There's a lot of spoilers that I could float in there, but it's essentially one big video game. How I kind of look at it is he's just going from place to place, figuring out a question. Extremely well shot movie, makes you think one thing, then bam, you're hit with another. And the way that movie's laid out, the way it asks the question of, is artificial intelligence considered humanity, and making you believe initially that no, it's not, and kind of pivoting and reversing on you, kind of really building an argument that, hey, it could be this other end of the spectrum as well. It could be true. I really love the way Denis Villeneuve laid out the film, just for the fact that it wasn't so cut and dry. You could think one thing, and next thing you know, there could be another thing that you could think about. I'm being very vague on this, but I wanted to talk about this because I think it could be a really relevant question coming up. May not be in the next 5 to 10 years, but the way artificial intelligence is increasing its technology, it's increasing its capabilities at a seemingly exponential growth, feels like it could be a topic or a question that comes into concern later down the road. I looked on websites like Reddit, Quora, I think that's how you pronounce it, Quora, just basically asking that question. I wanted to see some debate on the matter, and it really seems like an outstanding yes, that once that comes around, that capacity and that intelligence level, artificial intelligence, to be able to think on the level of a human and have the same emotional spectrum as we do, you would almost say, well, the ex machina question, are we gods? That's a bold statement, but yeah, we are essentially creating a whole new version of humanity where they can think freely on their own, and they'll have their own bodies. They'll probably look like us. I mean, who knows where it's going to go? But the question of the matter is, once we do have that capacity, how are we going to utilize that, and how are we going to regulate it? I do think there's one footnote in the fact that I believe that if we're going to have the capacity to create these robots that are able to think on the level of humans, we're going to have the technology to be able to regulate their emotions as well. We're going to be able to essentially not even have those emotions. I imagine we have it partitioned out to certain tasks. So like a farming robot probably won't have the love capacity. I mean, you don't want it to fall in love with corn, but I don't know. I mean, if we're going to be able to have that power to be able to create a artificial intelligent being that has all the spectrum of emotions, we're definitely going to darn at it at one point. And you can probably already imagine all the different applications we're going to use it for. So if they do have that emotional standpoint and that emotional spectrum, what in the world are we going to do to be able to regulate that? I really just wanted this to be an open discussion. I wanted you guys in the comments to go ahead and really debate this out. So go ahead and comment down below. What is your stance on everything I just talked about? You could pick one particular topic I talked about, or you could talk about the overall motive of the video. Go ahead and let me know. I'm going to try to stay active in the comments. I don't know, this is my first video, so I'm probably gonna have to come back to this for years on years, but it still could be an interesting thing to really talk about. If you like this video, hopefully by now I have another video out. I mean, the first 15 views of this are gonna be me, and I'd say the first month of it I might get 1 view, but hey, I mean, I'm talking to myself already. Maybe one more can join. This is just going to be one of a collective of things I will be talking about. It could be movies, films, TV shows, shoot songs that ask deep questions. We're just going to pose this, talk about it, and then go on to the next one. So yeah, thank you once again for actually clicking on this video and acknowledging the question, and hopefully we can really have a good discussion off of this. But that's the theme. That's the first video. I don't know how to end this, so I'm just going to go ahead and go. Thank you, everybody, and yeah, thanks again. Thanks. Thank ya. See ya.